Bucket hat cocked to the side, I'm a connoisseur. Bucket hat cocked to the side, I'm a connoisseur. Hey, what's up? My name is Steff Johnson and welcome to Behind the Work, a series where I explain my poetry. I feel like I've been talking too much already, so here's the poem titled Unspoken Yellow. I analyze my setting like it's a problem. I've learned from the shape of water, see grace operate like pollen. Its face reaches every border, it exists to drown out all its violence. The mind replicates the floral, without the yellow we're forgotten. Something that's been really wetting my whistle recently is getting these shorter poems and making them as dense and complex as possible, like this one. I analyze my setting like it's a problem. I've learned from the shape of water, see grace operate like pollen. Its face reaches every border, it exists to drown out all its violence. The mind replicates the floral, without the yellow we're forgotten. As we see on the first line is the topic of the poem, and the entire topic is me analyzing my setting, in hopes to find some type of meaning, some type of connection. And the two things that I'm analyzing in this particular time is water and pollen. The second line here, I've learned from the shape of water. This the infamous question of like, what's the shape of water? And there's no real answer because it's not a solid in a sense, but people have answers for this. I remember back in 2017, the movie The Shape of Water. It was a sci-fi romance where this woman that can't speak, she ends up falling in love with like this, I could be spoiling it right now, but this also leads to the next line of I see grace operates like pollen. This is me introducing pollen. 'Tis the season, this stuff is everywhere. I feel like once a year, everyone has at least one pollen-related catastrophe. I remember back in college, one night I just left my windows down in my truck, and that was not a good idea. I also use the capital G in grace because I'm genuinely talking about the grace of God. Like, its face reaches every border. I'm speaking about water, and I'm still analyzing, like I'm still learning from these things that's in my setting. And this one thing I've learned about water, I use the actual word face because I'm still trying to become more observant just in life. And an interesting thing that I also see with water is like this formlessness, this fluidity to take shape of anything that you, and that's sort of what I was getting at with the analyzing my spaces as if it's a problem. But this is definitely a page out of Bruce Lee's philosophy of like becoming the water.
This is what it is, okay? I said empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Whenever I have a topic, I just try to peel as much as away as possible, and I try to find myself. Where the next line is speaking about, it exists to drown out all its violence. So as I was peeling away this water subtopic, I was intrigued by tension, and I realized like, what happens if water tension didn't exist? Like, where would the wave stop? Would it implode on itself? I realized that simple phenomenon is like something I see in myself. I use the word violence here, not because I have to keep down violence, but it was just me using a quick sharp word to mean like just the raw emotions, those radical ends, whether it be sadness or happiness. It's like I have that tension within me to like filter it before it comes out. I don't have to lose my head in traffic. I don't have to be ultra sad when watching the news. I have to continue to keep that tension. Interesting thing about this part of the poem is this is also the part of the poem that starts to face inward. So the introduction is I analyze everything around me, my setting like it's a problem. But this is the first point where I'm starting to look inwards. The mind replicates the floral, without the yellow we're forgotten. I see grace operate like pollen. Again, me seeing pollen as the topic and trying to peel back as much as possible. What helped me get these two lines figured out is, if grace is to the mind what pollen is to the plant, Like, what would happen if we had no grace? You see what happens when pollen doesn't go to plants. I don't think we've ever seen that, because it's just like a natural occurrence. And I see the same thing with grace. Of course, I'm continuously commenting on pollen when I say the yellow, and the unspoken yellow is about pollen. The title is about pollen. But this line, forgotten, is sort of like a double entendre, if you may. Not only am I talking about the actual mind forgetting something, like I'm not just talking about forgotten in our memory, but without the pollen, these things would go. So that's sort of what I was hinting at. Like, I believe without grace, we would be out of here. But yeah, that's all I got. Stay tuned if you want to hear more of my work. Go to SoundCloud. I post almost daily, so that link will be somewhere. Thank you for your time. I'm out.
Be water, my friend.